Well, welcome everyone. My name is Joe Balser from American Pinball. We're located in Streamwood, Illinois. I don't have not a big crowd today, but maybe we'll get some people to come in. And don't forget the online audience, the thousands online that are watching this right now. I work on layout design and mechanical engineering at API, and with me today is Jim Thornton. Jim Thornton is a project coordinator, besides wearing many other hats on electrical and mechanical design, helps out on production and how things run out there, helps with procurement, so he's kind of the, wears all the hats to get games that I do. I look to have Jim to support everything to get going. And make things happen for the game that's coming up next. I was going to go through a slideshow with you guys that'll just kind of show some of the new stuff, how the game got developed, some of the older look to it, and then I'll go into more of a movie that's going to go through a bunch of slides with some gameplay and game music in the background. So starting out here. Let's see, we got to get this thing right, which we don't have right now. Slideshow. I don't know why I don't have the slideshow. So that should be from the beginning. Sorry, little technical difficulties here, as usual. I can't seem to get it started. Okay. Yeah, we got more people showing up anyway, so that's a good thing. Let's see, from beginning, and it's there, and then it's not there. So I'm going to get out of that for a second and come back in. See if we can make this work. So it's a big show. We came out here last year. We showed our the first time in Texas last year, and then we came here with one of our prototypes. Got a lot of good results from what was going on, and kind of went from there. We started out, I'm going to go through some things here. This is our production team, or our Houdini design team, basically. Includes myself. Josh Kugler does our rules and programming. He works to integrate animations on the game. Actually, Jim's in engineering also, but like I said, all the other hats that he wears. Jeff Bush is our art director. Jeff isn't here this time. Ish Renasis does our animations. Matt Kern, music and sound. Matt Reister, who a lot of games out there, you'll see some of his work out there. He does some great work in pinball and in other industries also, but pinball, he sculpts and produces toys in his location in Indiana. Barry Engler's our service manager. Barry's got a lot of years under his belt. Just joined us a few months ago, but picked up on everything, and he's running the service schools now, and going to be running a service school down in Atlanta with the 3 shows going on here, Atlanta and Colorado. And then Paul Solis is our production manager. Kind of helps put this thing together on the production floor. Some of the changes we did from last year to this year, we totally brightened up the play field for artwork. You guys that saw the game last year, this whole area on your left, that was the old artwork. This is the new artwork. We added more lighting. The background colors were all picked up, made it more vibrant. Definitely better looking game than it was a year ago. There was a plastic ramp that went to the return lane, which shows on the left. The new wire form ramp, cut that open, dropped the wire form ramp to the same return lane, but it opened it up, more visible, cleaner. It just kind of helps keep the game cleaner, looks cleaner. Plastic ramps seem to yellow and they'll get dirty and everything else. So it just kind of helped on the look of the game. We took the display that we originally had on the game and we turned it into more of a marquee front, we call it the API Grand. It's the theater where Houdini's doing all his magic. So we turned that and gave it a better artwork package all the way around. We added some spotlights. They were themed with the game. You'll see in the artwork, you'll find some of the old theatrical spotlights that are there, and we did that in sculpted pieces. We're always going to be, well, you know, there's one model, one price. We're sticking to our $69.95. You can see the features on the game. We've recently started to add more of an a la carte to a menu, if you want to put it, where you can buy the game for $69.95, or you can buy the inside art blades. We now have our own magic glass, which is a really brilliant glass. It works really well. And we got a shaker motor kit that is all in stock and is supplied now. And it just enhances the game in a big way. So as we move forward on our next model, we're gonna, we'll have these features. Some of the features may or may not be included in the game, but then you'll always have these to enhance the game if you want to. So you could put that order in with your distributor and then get the game with everything put on from the factory. These are the add-ons I just talked about, and they're all available as we speak. The game rules, I'm not going to get into game rules too much. Since this was put out and since the game has been out, if you guys played it when it was first here a year ago and play it now, it's a totally different game. There's a lot of enhancements, a lot more modes. It's a more robust game all the way around, and to compare it to last year, it's night and day. We got the stage modes. You can see some of these got bumped up. Actually, there's 10 modes in the stage modes now. That was minimal when you guys saw it last year. The Seance multi-ball was there, but now it's more enhanced, obviously. We put a lot more into the coding over the last year. There's trunk multi-ball, shoot the right inner loop. The right inner loop, we opened it up as much as we could on the layout. Everybody talks about it being a tough shot until they shoot it. I think our game kind of makes you a better player. Once you start making the tighter shots on games, you can go to other games and hit the wide open shots. It's almost like playing pool on a small bar pool table and then going shooting on a 9-footer. All of a sudden you're hitting all kinds of shots. So there are some tight shots on this game, I'll say that, but they're all makeable. Every shot's makeable. The inside right loop that feeds the upper vuck, it's a nice shot, is off a backhand, just a sitting backhand. As soon as that ball leaves, you hit again, and you'll get the spot for that. The backhand works well on that shot. It's got 5 movie modes, which now those movie modes are in. You'll see it on the monitor. If you missed a movie mode, for all of us that know when back in the old projectors, when projectors got stuck, the whole screen would kind of melt on you, and you'll see that happen in our game. So, we could put a few more enhancements in there, and the movie modes make more sense now, and they're more valuable in the game. Jail escapes, those are hurry-ups. You play the game, you get into jail escape or magician mode. Magician mode goes with completing all 5 hurry-ups, but the hurry-ups are more of a shot to a shot, and the game will tell you where to shoot, and you've got a timer running on all those. Secret missions, they're all combos, and they get difficult. The difficulty the difficulty level goes up as you get through the combos, and we like to use color coding on the game. So once you get familiar with it, you'll know what to shoot for, because with the RGB lighting, we'll change our lighting to coincide with the missions or whatever mode you might be in. And you'll pick that up as you're playing the game. If you noticed on all of these, there's a color code on each, so that the inserts will turn those colors when you're in that mode, and you'll see that happen. Magic shops, it's kind of a mystery style. You get into the magic shop, and it'll rotate through several different awards, and then when you shoot whatever is necessary to make that, you'll earn that. and you'll start earning Houdini letters, which that wasn't in there last year also. Melcan multipliers, a little shot on the left side. With the magnets there, you get a lot of bounces that go in there, but it is a shot that can be made off the right flipper. Once you start shooting the game, you'll pick up on the spot on there also. Magic targets, different ways depending on current state of the game. You'll see that those will change colors. There are 2 lower targets on the game. They'll change colors, which means when you hit that magic target, it will advance whatever mode that those colors coincide with. So you can advance through modes on the bottom targets, which gives you another shot. Return from Beyond and Escape from Death are both outlane games. I've kind of liked the idea of having a game within the game when you're draining. So you'll drain a ball, and if you qualified, you'll be able to get that ball back by hitting a sequence of targets or shots. Hello, Butch. How are you, buddy? Bonus multiplier, pops advance. So as soon as you go into the pops, that's going to do a countdown, and it'll work with your bonus multiplier up to 9 times. Our factory, I'll go through some pictures here early on before we built it, and then in the movie slideshow that'll run after this with some game music, you can see the changes and how the factory morphed into up to 30. We're at 35 games a week now. We like to bump it up as much as we can, but right now we're kind of running out of room. You'll kind of see that in some of the pictures. It'll show you that it's getting a little crowded. We'll talk about the future of API after we get through that slideshow and where we're going next and what's happening with us next. You could see this was obviously early on, nothing there. And there's just a couple of pictures of, you can see the small space we're in. We only have, it's somewhere between about 12,000 square foot to build. Then there's a couple thousand square feet of office space, so it's mostly factory area in our building. It's a 15,000 square foot building, and we're using up every square foot of it right now. And just a couple more slides there. That's our back box line. Each line is pretty much in the same spot. We've shifted a few things around, but all in all, it's about the same. So I'll let this movie play. It's going to show some pictures as it plays through, and it's got some music from the game that'll play in the background. Nice shot at a playfield. One of our customers took these shots out of a new in-box that he pulled out and just got some nice reflection off of the hard coat surface, which really looks like a pretty nice surface that it's working with right there. that shot right there turned out to be the feature shot on the game, really. We're throwing a ball a little over 22 inches, and our percentage of hitting the box is right at about the 95% range. We got this in a nice slow motion, you could watch the movement of the ball, but it's really a cool shot. We got the adjustments in the game and coil settings to get it set right. Once you set a game up, once you set that power up without a big variance in power source, it shoots at a 95% plus clip. Some of the original artwork, original ideas. We had a short amount of time to make this game happen, so you can see all the similarities. We didn't do many changes to make the game come to life. One of the things we knew is we can't make too many mistakes in a 4-month window. So we were really all double checking everyone's work and making sure we got the right, got it right the first time. There's some tweaks and changes you're going to do to any pinball you're bringing up, but there was a lot of luck on our side besides a ton of hours to make it happen. This was a piece of paper in November of 2016, and we showed up in Texas in March with 2 games, full artwork. They were playing. Obviously, we had early code, we had issues, but we made a promise to get there, and we got there. One of the things with the company since I started is if we say something, we're going to do that. And in March, we said we'd be shipping by the end of the year, and we actually got 3 games in a box on December 30th and shipped them to one of our distributors. So we did fulfill that promise. It took another month and a half to really get quality games coming off the line, and now we trust what we're doing, and everything that's coming off the line is completely checked and rechecked before it gets put in the box. Jim and I probably spent the first month and a half, 2 months on the line, doing the quality control at the end of the line to make sure games were going in the box and they were working as well as they can. Some of the early prototypes off of 3D printing, early sketches of the milk can, the water torture tank. There's some notes that went back and forth to the artist. These are not in the best order, but it'll work. Early art for the stage alley and key lane. There's some shots of of the whitewood. Whitewood was used to, make this thing come alive. We really didn't have the time to completely wire it and shoot off of whitewood. We went right to printed boards. One thing you might see here, if I can catch it, if you notice how this ramp is going under the plastic ramp, where, I wonder if I can pick this up. You can see a shot right there where trying to get the wire ramps done as quick as I could. I wasn't sure working in 2D AutoCAD. I'm not a SolidWorks guy. We have guys that do SolidWorks, but you can see in this picture that wire ramp, I had it going over the plastic ramp and then dropping at about 45 degrees to get it down to the catapult. When we got it in, I kind of had to laugh about that, but I grabbed the ramp, and you'll see that just by hand in our shop, I took the ramp and formed it down to go under the plastic ramp is where it should have went, as you can see in that picture right there. And it was just kind of hand formed on a bench, and we popped it in and everything worked just fine. And that's what you see out there on the production model. This was working with the catapult shot. The first few times when we got the power right, knowing that the shot was going to work. One of the issues that we had was if that shot didn't work, we didn't really have a plan B. So thank you that it did work, and we made it work. That's at our vendor when it first got printed, just to go there and do a print check on it. These are some 3D renderings we were messing around with early on. That would be Matt with the originals that he did. That's some of the original flipper covers. I was in Matt's shop trying to figure out how to make it fit on the bracketry that we were using. That was at Texas. There's the original sketchings. Some of these things aren't in the right order, but you can see where everything came from. So there was a development time. It was a very quick window, but there was development time, as you can tell in the game. How it all came together in that amount of time we still wonder how it happened. That was at the unveiling in Texas, which was a lot of fun. That was the first game that got in the box. That was on December 30th, 2016. Now you can start seeing some of the changes that the factory morphed into from what was there. Those are those earlier shots that were in that slideshow. And then as we get through this, you'll see how it just kind of packed up and how it all came together. And there's Houdini. I don't know how he got in there too, but he's there. See how the whole Houdini from back in the back in the 30s, that time, and mixing that with the steampunk look really brought the game to life as far as the artwork came along. Now you can start to see that. Well, no, not really. There's Houdini walking through a wall. Well, you can start to see that once you start getting parts in and finding where you're going to build them. Where can we stock them? How do we make this all work in a smaller area? I don't know who that is. Cabinets are made in Chicago by Churchill Cabinets. They make some of the best cabinetry in the industry, so we go with them. They're friends. Greatest order. Early testing. We're spending long days out there. That's the first game okayed to ship for game number 1. And then the last few shots here are more recent shots with more employees shown, more parts. You can see as the lines filled up and the building filled up. You kind of see where we're at by the end of the slideshow. So right there's a good shot of a lot of things going on in a smaller space. Got a small cabinet line that starts everything out. That kind of meets with the playfield line after testing. Line is set up in more of a horseshoe effect, or a horseshoe layout, and that's all sub-assembly on one wall. And that's our test stations for playfield test. They get fully tested there, and then they meet the cabinets and get, again, fully tested in final. A lot of parts go into a pinball machine. Okay. So that's just kind of a run through of an empty building to where we are today. Thing we wanted to talk about a little bit is where we are as a company, where we are going forward. We're not going anywhere. Just so everyone knows that you can see how we kind of ran out of space, and we need to build more games. The industry has shifted where people waited a long time for games. They put deposits down and waited 2, 3, 4 years to get their games. That is all shifting, and it's shifting back to the way it was. And if you wanted to buy a game, you saw a game at a show, you wanted to buy it, you could buy that game. Or you can get a game within a week or two, at your doorstep. And that's how the industry has shifted now. So we have to balance that out. Once we come out with game 2, we got to be able to ship within a month or two after showing that first game. And if there's any big lag time, we know we're going to either lose sales or people are going to, there's other product out there. So we procured a larger building, about 3 times the size we have now, which will probably be up and running, we're hoping, by the end of this year, if not earlier. There's a lot that needs to be done to get it to that point without breaking up anything going on in production currently. So we have a balancing act to make that happen, but we are going to grow as we see that we need to. We need to go put that out there for everyone that we are going to be around. We have games. We are trying to get games in stock now at distributors. We have games. If you need a game, we'll get it to you. There's no waiting up until now, where our production is now caught up with any pre-orders through distribution, and now we're selling, and we're open for business. And we're looking forward to the future at American Pinball. Diligently working on game 2. We're not as far along as we want to be, but we have a nice title, really nice layout that we're working on. We're hoping to do an unveil in the fall. Shooting for Expo in Chicago. That's our goal. That's where we're headed for. That's the sites that we're on now. It's kind of like when I talk about the December 16 to March at TPF. We're in that mode. So, coming here was kind of a nice little break as we're doing 12, 16-hour days, trying to make this all come together, pulling our vendors together, getting everybody ready to make this happen. We want to be able to show the game and then deliver it in a short amount of time. We don't want to have that lag that kind of pulls from sales. We're confident we're moving forward. Like I said, we got another building we're going to be moving into. We're going to grow with where we are. We kind of had to see where this was going to take us. And the games delivered have been more positive than anything, meaning most people that get their games aren't having any issues. Once they're set up, they're ready to go. Now that we have a nice field service set up and how to take care of issues, we jump on and take care of issues as quickly as possible. And we're getting a lot of good feedback for Barry, towards Barry Engler and his work being done, because he'll jump on it and make sure things are right. That's important. We came in this thing and we started this thing to say we were going to be this friendly pinball company. What we wanted to do was be very customer centric. We wanted to make the customer experience, that's the main deal. We had to get our distributors, on that same page with us. We need to still grow our partnerships with distributors and grow our partnerships with our customer base. So, we're always open for suggestions. It's that open door policy is real. We do get a lot of feedback from our customers. We do, positive or negative. and we do what we can to take care of issues if there are issues. And we feel comfortable about that. We really do. I like where we are. Obviously, we need to staff. We need to staff more as we grow, and we're in the middle of doing that also. And that's kind of a living thing that happens. And hopefully, more and more people will come our way now that it's seen that we are producing games. We're not backing off the gas pedal. We don't want to lose momentum now that we are shipping. So, and Houdini's ours. Houdini isn't a licensed product where we have time stamps and we need to have this done and then renew licenses and everything else that goes with it. So we can run this thing as long as there's a demand for it. So we're looking at a lot of different other ways of marketing now and getting people to see the game. We're just now starting to go overseas with the product, which we feel finally really comfortable getting games overseas for our CE approvals and everything else. So we, everything is rolling in the right direction. We haven't had any major setbacks. And like I said, the more comfortable we are is because our distributors are becoming more comfortable, our customer base is becoming more comfortable, and for the first game, we're not getting a lot of field service issues. Nothing that's really hold on, stop the presses. We got an issue. We've been able to get through any of the problems that we had. And believe me, a lot of the problems come down to manufacturing and how the game's put together. You have people that haven't seen a pinball machine before, and you put them on a line, and there's a lot of training that happens, and you try to cross-train and get people to work with others. Somebody misses a day, you're not done. You get a little heavy on one side of the production line. We can move people into the cabinet area or back box area and still get a nice production flow going. So a lot of the people we have on the line are kind of multi-talented that way, where we're starting to get better employees out there that can do more jobs. If they see something, they say something. We don't stop them from communicating with us, and we do what we can to make things right out there. The easier they have it building games, the better the games are when they get to final, and the better the games are when they get to you. So we feel good about ourselves, and we feel that we're in the right direction. So I guess what we'll do now is just kind of questions. Anybody got any questions for us, for me or Jim? We'll take them and talk to you guys. So go ahead.
What's the status of Houdini's code in terms of what you consider will be 100%? Sorry.
That's a good question. You've been working with Josh more, so I'm going to give this to you. I'd say we're probably at the 90% at this point, but Jimmy works with him a lot more, testing code and everything, so I'll give it to Jim.
Yeah, how you doing? I'm Jim Thornton. Yeah, most of our code is about 90% done right now. Josh putting the finishing touches on what is still not in the game. The final mode is really where he's at right now. And then he's going to go back and clean up some other modes. He's been adding some new animation. We've added Ishranesis full-time in-house now. So he's now concentrating full-time on all of our animations, cleaning everything up, adding new things that he didn't like from day one, he wanted to put in. So we're looking at trying to get the rest of the code done within the next, say, 2.5 months, so that he can be done with the game and move on forward to game 2.
We got a question from online for you guys.
All right.
Questions from Pinball Magazine. Question is, I noticed that Brian Hansen started working at AP in November of 2017 as a pinball designer and mechanical design engineer. Will Brian be designing a game on his own, or is he in more of a support for Joe role?
Right now, Brian is in a support role as a mechanical engineer. He does have ideas. I mean, Brian comes from a lot of designs that he did on his own. Also, he was in the redemption market where he was doing a lot of redemption games. So he has a few things in his pocket. Whether or not we're going to go in that direction, right now we have a couple of designs that that we're happy with moving forward. But Brian is more on a mechanical support right now, which has been working out just fine for us. So.
I've got a quick question. You talked about you have no licensing on this, not even with the artwork, the likenesses of Houdini?
Yeah, there were no licenses needed. Houdini never had any children, so nothing got passed on that way. And I think one of, don't quote me on this, but he had been known to say that, there wouldn't be anything like that because he just wanted his legacy to go on. When I came on board and Houdini had been trademarked by API, I had my questions on how did that happen, because of all the pinball magic. I mean, all the magic games that were out there. How did Houdini get slipped and missed? And it just turns out that that's what happened. Whether or not it never got looked into because the industry thought it was a licensed product, or when we got a hold of it and we talked to council and they did their due diligence to make sure is there a license floating out there from somewhere, it all came up in our favor. So it worked out great. Yeah. Yeah.
Are all the extras that you anticipate offering with Houdini, such as the side art, are those currently available? Do you plan on coming out with anything else for the game?
Right now, what's currently available are the inside blades artwork that you'll see on the games in Tommy's booth. Magic Glass is available, and also the shaker motor kits are available. I know that if you go online, there's a lot of product out there already for different types of toppers and add-ons, and that's the one thing that it's a good thing when other people can do this, and it feeds other people, or it helps another guy out or whatever, and people get creative and come up with some stuff that we didn't even think about. But we've got a couple of toppers we've been working with, and I'm pretty sure that we'll probably come out with a topper or two that'll be available. There's also, people like the mechanical knocker, so we've got a knocker kit that's coming out also. So, and being the first one, at least we know what people like moving forward. And like I said, if I can fit it in the bill of material, we can fit it in the bill of material in the next one. Side blades, the blades are going to be there. I mean, now that I've seen blades done by the original artist for a game, it almost looks unfinished when it doesn't have the inside art blade. So moving forward, you're always going to see those. They're available now for Houdini, or you can order it with your game. So. Anyone else? No, he's got another one.
So this is more of a comment than a question. I just want to let you guys know, I think personally, I collect quite a few games, and I think Houdini is one of the most beautiful games I've seen, and I'm really looking forward to Oktoberfest. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And what was the name you came up with? Oktoberfest? Huh. I don't know. I saw something online about that. I have no idea. But thank you, really. And that's a big comment to Jeff Bush. Jeff, who is our art director, our artist, he's now on full-time too. So you're going to see more of what he can do. Once you cut him loose, he's got all kinds of images coming through. And he's really, really good to work with. So we're lucky to get Jeff full-time, and also Ish, who does our animation. So now we have guys. They're not the contract guys. We're hoping to have some time to work with us. They're with us full-time now. So as we staff up, we'll try to get some, we're always looking for good people to come on board.
Got some more questions online for you.
All right.
The second game for American Pinball will be Oktoberfest. The theme has been suggested several times over the years that there has been some concern that the name may be limiting sales as it is aiming at October. As the game is most likely about beer and bratwurst, have you considered making the same game under a different name as well to expand sales?
Well, to answer and not answer that question at the same time, we haven't come out to officially announce an Oktoberfest themed game. It's all over the internet that it is. But being Oktoberfest, in my opinion, if there's so many elements to that festival that it's definitely not just a beer drinking, bratwurst eating kind of game. So, I mean, one thing we do want to keep in our pocket is that, you know, our games will be the more family-friendly games. We don't want to come out with games that only dad can play with his buds in the basement. That's not the way we want to go. So, you know, there's a lot of elements to not just Oktoberfest, but, you know, any game that might have, you know, beer and you know, drinking or whatever, that's kind of frowned upon type of thing going on in the world now, and that's fine. But, you know, if we use humor and we bring in all the other aspects of any title, we'll definitely make it work in that way.
One final question from online from L. Terrian wants to know, just want to say it's amazing what you guys have accomplished in less than a year. What is the one biggest lesson you've learned in the industry since American Pinball started?
Well, I'll answer that one, and then we'll have Jim answer it, because we always have a little bit different opinion. But I would say the biggest lesson learned is that when we came out saying what we were wanting to do, that we actually did that. Too many times it's happened in this industry over the last several years that a lot has been put out there, but the end game never happened, and it was such a gap between it. The interest in the product, in the company, you know, fell off the cliff. That's the one thing that I really got on the bandwagon of, is to, if we're going to say something, guys, we have to do it. And so far we've been able to do that without trying to back away or without trying to divert what we said or change it into something else. So honesty, being straight up with the customer base, being straight up with distribution is probably one of the biggest lessons learned, that we do have to stay on that track, or we're gonna fall off and be in a place we don't want to be.
Yeah, to expand on what Joe said, yeah, being honest, open, going out and releasing a game and showing everybody that you have a game, it's a good start. But like we've said early on, having the game is something people want right away. They see it, they play it. Impulse says, I want this game. We need to be a little quicker getting our games out, from the time that we release it to the time that it goes to the production line. And what we've done is staff pretty slow. We've been trying to crawl before we run. We don't want to get something out there, have multiple issues, and have to fall back on that and go, okay, you know, yeah, we're a new company, and we really don't want to be that company where somebody says, okay, there you go, another startup. I shouldn't have done this. I should not have bought in this game. So we've been trying to be very careful. Joe is very careful in designing this game. Houdini is got a few pieces on it that haven't been done before, but for the most part, it's a very safe game. Very safe game that not much can't be found on the internet. Not much isn't something that hasn't been done in the past. You know, his layouts are very unique, and you'll find Joe does everything different every time. He's not like a Pat Lawler who has signatures, things that are in every single game. You won't find that with a Joe Balser game. He likes to live on the edge and just throw things out there.
Okay, we've got about 9 minutes to kill. We'll maybe sing a song, or, you know. Thank you all for showing up. I know it's an early time of the show. We were kind of last minute. Here's something we need to improve on is you know, being on time with making scheduling for shows, and it maybe shows you that we might be a little understaffed when we're banging on the door of this place trying to get a seminar time last week or whatever. We need to fix that part of it. We need to be more proactive on, just getting things done ahead of time. It's hard to do when you aren't really staffed up and you can pass a lot of things on. So, the whole thing of wearing multiple hats still is there. I'm starting to take one or two off at a time, and I like the one you have, actually. It's just, the pinball's I've been in it a long time. I was away from it for a few years, and I just love the industry. It's when you can have a job that you have fun every day, it's not a job. It's just a part of your life. It's what you do every day. There's a lot of ups and downs to it, obviously. But the fun part, is knowing you put together a design, it grew into what it grows into. People like it. You hear from people in all parts of the world that'll come to a show and shake your hand or congratulate the team for making a game that, they're in Australia or they're in the UK somewhere, or they're just in the States but not in Chicago, people you never met before. And it's just a lot of fun. It's a tight little industry. Everybody kind of knows what's going on. Gary Stern likes to talk about how it's cyclical, how it'll boost up and sales go crazy for several years, and then I think it's a 7-year window. I mean, Gary's been around this thing a whole lot longer than I have, and you can see it. You can see how that happens in the industry, and right now it's all part of a little bit of a resurgence, and the games. The games out there are, some of the best ones out there. It's just fun to be a part of that. And I think that's what brings in a good team when you have that feeling. You got distributors like Tommy that are going to bat for you all the time. It makes a big deal to a person like me. It is a big deal to put another product out there that people like to play. I worked at a job. I'm as assembly plant manager, and how many trucks did we send out today? Well, that's what I had to talk about. That's you don't get too many laughs. You don't. It's a job, as I guess what I'm saying, and this is a job, but it's different when it's fun and building fun games. To me, it takes the cake. It's on top of everything. I couldn't be happier being back in the industry. I was, tucked away in the industry for a long time. I started out in a tool room. I was making fixtures for games. I was working the line for games. Got a chance to get into engineering, and everything went from there. My first layout was with Data East. And that was Baywatch, and that was a game you could just go crazy on, and the ramping on that game was a lot of fun to put together. And from there, we had one team doing 3 or 4 games a year, so you had a lot of experience in not just layout, but then the mechanical side and everything else. So I love being a part of everything in the game, at least have a say-so on a few things, and then let people do their job. Jeff, for instance, was always watched, and you can't do that, you got to do this. Maybe it's licensed product, and he doesn't have that freedom. And this time he had that freedom, and you can see in the end artwork package that's what can be done when you let someone do their job, and they take a lot of pride in it. So fun industry to be in. You guys make up that industry, and that's kind of where all of our team is at. It'd be nice to be able to bring the whole team to every show, but that can't happen. It was nice to come out here and get a little bit of a break, like I said earlier, and just kind of reconnect with the customers and reconnect with our distributors, and just kind of kick back a little bit for a couple of days and then go back to the grind, start Monday. But it's all in fun, and it just all means a lot to all of us when we do make a product that works. We do make a product that people like to shoot and have some fun with it. So that's what makes this thing all worthwhile, especially after all the down years and pinball is going to die, and it's going to be gone, and you know what? I don't know. This thing's going to hang around. It's going to be here, and we're going to be here. So, I hope you have enough confidence in it that Houdini's not a one and done. Game 2's coming. Game 3's there. We know the direction we want to go, and we're growing. We're getting bigger, which is good. We've outgrown our building now in about a year, and we kind of know that it's time to move the walls and get a bigger place. Hopefully we sustain sales, and everybody likes game 2 and game 3, and we keep going and going. And we're going to do everything we can to get you guys good products, something that you'll be happy having it in your collection. Good to see it on location. Keep pinball going. That's pretty much what we want to do at API. Anyone else? That's about it. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. And come over, shoot the game with us. Let us know what you're thinking, and we'll go from there. I appreciate it. Thanks.